this past week on the 26th, Joey Jordison passed away, and like obviously everybody pretty upset by the news. I mean, it's made a big impact. It was really cool to see on social media just, you know, like how many fans he really had, and you know how he changed, you know, him and the founders of Slipknot changed the face of metal. It's insane, because I mean, like when we were younger and we would listen to them, you know, it was like our little secret. It was like this, you know, you're listening to the self-titled and you're getting these weird demos on burn CDs of Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat, and you're just like, this stuff is so crazy, like. And the sound was absolutely insane. And my story of how I was introduced to Slipknot was it was actually pretty interesting, because kind of like Pokemon cards back in the day, everybody would bring their CD binders to school, and we would just kind of, you know, trade. And I was the guy who was pumping out LD50. Like I wanted everybody to hear Mudvayne, but there was times where I was being introduced to weird stuff and I was listening to things. Of course, you know, with people's trades, you know, you can really like Mewtwo and Alakazam, but somebody's just like, you want this Growlithe? And I'm just like, no, I don't like fuzzy fire Pokemon. But they're introducing you to new things. So a lot of people had rap and hip hop, and that's, you know, that's how I found Eminem. I also listened to like Puff Daddy. There was a bunch of Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. But one of the guys who was really into hip hop, he had like this huge collection. Like if there was anything in that genre you wanted, he would have it. Well, I remember he came over to my folder and he was like, hey, you like to listen to this heavy shit, right? And I was like, yeah. Yeah. So he like flips to the back, and yeah, there was just like this red disc with an upside down skull. Like it was like a CAT scan or something. And he's just like, and he just like threw it on my folder, and I was like, thanks. And I was like, the hell's all this then? So then I go home and I've got this Sony boombox, and like I just like take out Lateralus or whatever it was at the time. My time's gonna be so off on all what I was listening to, but I remember putting this in, and me and my friends were like, hey, let's go play some kickball in the backyard. And I turned on the boombox, and like immediately we're like playing kickball and we're like having a good time, but the whole time we're just like, my lord, what is that sound? Like it's evil. Like it's I remember very distinctively being like, it's giving me a headache. Like it's like too much. I don't even know if yeah, no wonder that dude didn't want to listen to this crap. And I like took it out and I like put it back into my CD folder. Well, of course, after a few times, I'm like, I started listening to it on my Walkman, and I was just like, my gosh, that is so angry. And the more I listen to it, the more I like it. Like, and then everybody else is like, you're still listening to that crap that like insta gives you a headache? And I'm like, shut up, it doesn't give me a headache anymore. I love it. It's giving me pleasure. I didn't know much about music. I always remember like playing air guitar on like tennis rackets, but I didn't actually understand how it worked. I was like, do I wave my hand over these strings, or how do they make the noise? How does it know it's making the noise? So I didn't know anything about drums either, other than like percussion, like drumline stuff. So I remember taking the CD to one of my teachers, because he was like a really cool dude. He was our math teacher. And I had him listen to Slipknot, and he was just like, yo, that's heavy. Yeah, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty cool. Of course, he's not going to knock on our music. He probably wanted to tell me to get out of his class. But he listened to it, and I was just like, what is that noise? How come it's so fast? He was just like, oh, that's the drums. And I was like, no, because the drums go, and he's doing that, but there's just like this constant that I hear. Is that him playing the toms? Is he Goro? Like, how is he playing the toms and the cymbals? And he was like, no, that's his feet. And of course I was like, his feet? Who plays drums with their feet? And he's like, no, it's like a hammer. And yeah, traditionally there's like one hammer on your right foot, and then you play the hi-hat if you're like playing like jazz or rock. But he's got two hammers and he's using both feet, and I was just like, what? That's what he's using all of his limbs to play? That's insane. So then, of course, it became going down to the public library and looking up like videos of this. And yeah, once I would see these old shitty like camcorder videos of Joey like spinning his hair and fucking, I was just like, that dude is possessed by the devil. Like, that's not even a demon. That's just the devil. Look at him.
Just touching on the windmill headbanging while he's playing. Like I was watching some old videos last week, and watching him whip his hair
Yeah.
while he's playing, and I was just like, no one does
Yeah,
that.
no, nobody
like watch
does that.
literally any other band play live, and the drummer's just like,
Yeah, very, very focused. And
Yeah.
they've got like the veins, and they're always like biting their lip, and
Yeah.
they're just really trying to pay attention.
and Joey's just sitting there just, whoa. I was
Wearing-
just like, oh my god, I
Wearing a-
forgot.
Yeah, full jumpsuit with like like limited vision, just
Yeah.
completely like in a different. Again, it was insane. There was nothing else like that.
Yeah.
I remember like like growing older and getting into more metal and like seeing the drummers and seeing Black Dahlia Murder's drummers and like Dave Lombardo from Slayer and like seeing their techniques and seeing all the influence. There was just one Joey though. Like there was nobody else had that energy. Nobody else had that speed. There was so many things that he did with like fills and like playing the snare really fast that like led into the next riff that just made it hit harder and hit better. And I was just like, again, he was my favorite drummer for a huge time just because like, again, in the Iowa years, they were all like idols to me. So I was just like, no, Joey Jordison's the best. And I remember people being like, no, like, dude, Dave Grohl's the best. No, he's not. Like, Dave Grohl could never play what Joey plays, and Joey could probably play Dave Grohl riffs with one hand and one foot. Like, and they were just like, no, it's because Dave Grohl hits the skins harder. Shut up! Like, no. Do you even know who Joey is? Like, if you saw what I've seen, you'd be like, whoa, wow. He was bigger than a lot of things, and again, it was so easy to defend him and like that he was the best because at that time there was nothing like that. That's what got me into like fast metal, and then hearing everybody else like, no, that dude opened up the world to blast beats, and he totally had an energy like no other, and I was like, oh, I'm glad it wasn't just me getting my little brains exploded like listening to things I couldn't understand, and it had me do my research. It had me look into it, and then I learned, and it's all part of the formula of like why I became a musician and why I listened to the music I listened to. It was a huge influence, and it's super sad when a piece of that's gone because I was there and I loved it, and it was a huge influence on me. And there's going to be some poor kids out there that are just like, Joey who, what, slip what? They won't know that kind of energy. They won't know that there's always the people who do it first, the people that I mean, I know it's been done before, but there's just one Joey. Like, everybody else who plays really fast and really cool, they're just in an ocean of other dudes that do that. But you could hear Joey, whenever he would do a project with like the Roadrunner United and stuff, or whenever he did like some of the drum work for OTEP. Remember their drummer got injured on like the tour, and he was like he filled in, and you could just immediately be like, that's Joey.
He did that with Korn too. He
Yeah.
did some touring with Korn. He's actually, if you watch the Korn music video for the song Evolution, the drummer in that video is Joey.
Okay, yeah.
He was all over the place. He was always working with other people, and then he had other projects like the Murder Dolls where he played guitar. Because I remember when I first heard Slipknot, it's nothing like your story. I had a friend who just told me about Slipknot. He was just like, you've got to hear it. Like, there's this super intense band. Like, it's nothing like anything else I've ever heard. And I was like, okay, well, when are you gonna show it to me? Like, when do I get to hear this mythical beast band? And one day, when he got his own copy of Iowa, he was like, okay, now it's like, I'm going to show him to you. And this was over the phone. Like, we're talking like on a landline phone. And he just like started playing Iowa and just like held the phone up to the speaker. Because that's the kind of crap we had to do.
Damn. Which probably translated to...
Oh, it sounded awful. But I was just like, when I heard it, I was just like, what is that noise? Like, what is that monster screaming? And it's just like this constant pounding, because like up until that point, like I had heard bands like Korn and Metallica and Rob Zombie and Linkin Park and stuff like that, but I'd never heard anything like that. And I was like, okay, you have to bring this to school. Like, let me borrow this CD because I need to hear it. When I like sat down, like put my headphones on and just started Iowa, and I was just looking through that booklet, the one that like accordioned out, and it had all of their faces on like each their own like page, and I was like, what am I experiencing? Like, they all look like monsters, and like I'm just hearing the most intense noise I've ever heard in my life, and I was just like, I love it. And it was the gateway that led me down the path of that heavier music. And yeah, he he totally brought blast beats to the masses. And I knew people like in high school that would like shit on him and be like, oh, he's not that great of a drummer, he just plays really fast. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if there's better drummers, it doesn't matter if there's more technically proficient drummers than him. There's a reason that Slipknot, even though they release an album every 17 and a half years, there's a reason that everyone knows them. There's a reason that they're so beloved. And it doesn't matter if you like their newer music or don't like their newer music. If you're someone like us where you're just like, my heart is with the first 2 albums.
Yeah.
Like, that is the power, that's the heaviness, that's the anger. Like, those are the albums that I love. It's been a part of pretty much every metalhead's like path and journey discovering music, because we all start somewhere.
Yeah.
And a lot of us started with Slipknot. And when I heard he passed away, I was just like, at first I was just like, oh, that's a shame. I mean, he hasn't been in the band for years and he hasn't really been doing anything. But then when I saw that he was only 46, I was just like, oh my gosh. Like, I really hope that it wasn't drugs. Like, I know he had medical problems, but medical problems usually lead to drugs, and then drugs lead to overdoses. And like, I would hate to see another member of that band go because of that, because that's what the bass player passed away from. So it's just been a really sad thing to lose someone like that. I would kind of say it was like losing Dimebag Darrell, because he was a huge guitar player in the metal community.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. Well, back then everyone knew who he was. We just wanted to make this video and just kind of pay our respects to a drummer that was a huge part of our lives and a huge part of what led us to be where we are today.
And probably yours as well. That's what, it would be interesting in the comments if you could tell us, when you first heard Slipknot, or what inspiration Joey had on you. I could imagine if I was a drummer, that would be like one of my arms flying off.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's sad, and again, we're all gonna die at some point, but it sucks when it's early, and again, the impact he had on other musicians and any projects he could have been working on. I mean, I could totally see Joey being like this really cool producer in the future, and really helping people develop really good, techniques and stuff, just because he knew what he was doing. He was really talented. And that's what sucks. You lose a fellow musician and an inspiration and an idol. Joey Jordison and that mask, and everybody knew who he was. He was a really cool dude. I mean, I've seen Slipknot and I've gotten a few signatures and stuff, and I mean, he was usually just quiet. And a lot of people were like, yeah, he was quiet. He wasn't one of those loud, crazy guys. It's like, I love beer, and it's on a table somewhere. But again, that's the people that are like that are usually, they have a lot of talent, and they're always practicing. I remember seeing an interview with him where he was, people were asking him, like, what else do you do? Like, what other hobbies do you have? He's like, I play the drums.
Yeah,
the drums are my life.
I've seen that interview, and they were like, do you have any hobbies outside of music? And you're just like, no.
Yeah.
Music is all I do.
Yeah. Some people.
So, I think we'll end this video on just a moment of silence for Joey. You don't have to watch, but we'll be here. Leave us a comment. Let us, like we said before, let us know your history with the band and what your memories are with Slipknot, because we will read those comments.